Tekla structures for offshore applications. Offshore. Let's start with the existing structure first of all. Here's an offshore platform detailed in Tekla structures. Take a little walk around it. Zoom in at one of the connections. Everything's an object in Tekla structure, so we can quite simply change the thickness of this plate. Zoom out, take a little walk through. It's complete with all its safety equipment, beams, welds, plates, all fully detailed in the Tekla structures model. Create a new build. Let's create a new offshore structure. We'll create a new model in Tekla structures. We have a model template specifically for offshore structures with our settings already there. Type in the name of the project and create the new offshore project in Tekla structures. First thing we'll do is put in some grid layout. All structures start with a grid layout in Tekla structures. The spacings in X, Y and Z, and there we have our grid layout. Now when working with offshore structures, many structures have already been started in other softwares such as Smart Plant or frameworks, so we need to be able to import that information into the Tekla structures model or create it from the ground up. In this case we're going to import an existing building that's already been created in a plant modelling software. So we'll go to our import options, pick up the file to import, which in this case is offshore base. It's an SDNF file, it's a steel detailing neutral file, which is a standard interface between these two softwares. Import that into there. You'll see the elements will appear. Green meaning they're new to the model, and we can accept those. And those elements are transferred seamlessly from the plant modelling software directly into Tekla structures. We'll then go and apply some connections within Tekla structures. Of course we're using pipe-to-pipe connections. This new library of tube connections not only creates connections in Tekla but also downloads directly to the HGG pipe profiling machines, along with weld preparations, shrinkage, all the information required for offshore structures. So for example, there we have a pipe-to-pipe connection. I'll now apply the connections to the rest of the building, or the pipe-to-pipe, and if we just click on a few of those, you can see there we have the pipe-to-pipe developments. All cases are handled. Now beam to pipe connections, again using our standard Tekla components, which are all fully customizable. We can say connect those elements together. There we have the beam to pipe connection, just one of them that's available, and again we'll apply that around the structure. At any time of course it's important that we create any kind of information from Tekla. For example, workshop drawings, GA drawings. So here's a GA drawing, an example workshop drawing. Of course we can create material lists, in this case an Excel spreadsheet format. Even down to barcoding lists. Any kind of list can be created. Weld locations, weld volumes, bolt lists, all created directly from the Tekla model. To the structure we can now continue detailing. In this case we have some more steel work that's been created in our plant modelling software. So again what we'll do is we'll import that into the Tekla model. So again import using exactly the same format. We'll create a new import called import 2. Pick up the file, in this case it's the offshore frame. and again we can say import that into the model. You can see those green elements have just been added. We can accept that. That's now added to our existing Tekla structures. The next stage is to apply connections. What we've got here is we've got auto connection. It's an intelligent type of connection system in Tekla where it will look at the size of members connected to each other and give you the relevant connection needed. So in this case we'll do the beam to beam connections. You can see I've selected the whole structure and said okay, on that whole floor apply a typical connection offshore type. All weld preparations, copes, weld information. We'll now say beam to column, which is connected on that whole structure at the top end. The beam to column, again weld preparations, copes, mouse holes. And finally we'll say the bracings. Again select the whole top deck and it's automatically detailed those connections for me. Structure may occur in the plant. It may be that in the plant modelling software there are some changes to the structure. For example, this top deck. So if it's changed within the plant modelling software, we can easily bring that back into Tekla and flag the revisions in the Tekla software. So if we point to the file created by the plant modeler, re-import that back into Tekla, it will compare the two files and show you the changes between the two. So there you can see the green elements, the plates have been added, and these pieces have been moved into a new position. Again, we can accept that. Yes, and my modelling Tekla has updated itself to the relevant plant modelling structure. We can also bring in elements from plant modelling software such as PDS and PDMS for these sort of pressure vessels and pipe work. We can point to a reference object, a DGN or DWG, and we can bring that as well into the Tekla model. So you can see now we've added all the pressure vessels, pipe works and valves. This then allows us to do a nice clash detection to make sure that all the elements are actually missing the Tekla connections and the real steelwork positions. So we quickly run a clash detection on there. If we change the visibility level, we can take a look at some of the collisions in the model, if there are any. So walk down, you can see any collisions or possible problems. So what we can do now is add the secondary equipment such as handrails, stairs and ladders. So we'll add some safety equipment across the top deck of the structure. There we have the handrail. If we head along this side, there we are. If we quickly just zoom in on that, you can see the safety rails are completely detailed. We can add a typical ladder case for an offshore structure. A full library of these types of elements are available. From point to point, all standards are in there. And finally we can add a cage ladder into the structure like so. All the drawings and material lists, everything is keeping itself fully updated from the Tekla Structures model itself. So if you take a look at the drawing, you can see of course that's updating itself with no further work required from me.